What we're going to start to talk about today is identity theft. If you were with us last week, all the frauds we talked about and all the scams leads a lot of people just to one thing, is to be afraid of identity theft. And identity theft, the criminals do not want to be you or me or anything like that. What they want is to disguise themselves as you or me so that they can access our credit rating. So at that point, if you've sent your credit card in, or you've given them your name and address and a credit card, they can create their own identification cards, and at that point can go to the bank. They can open an account in your name. From there, they deposit and withdraw money for 3-4 months, and at that point, they start getting credit cards, they start getting loans, they start getting mortgages or renovation money, and soon the bills will be coming to your address. So we're going to talk about this and what they need and how you can prevent becoming a victim of identity theft. So identity theft is described as your personal information is collected and used by someone identifying him or herself as you and making transactions through the financial industry or requests on your account. It's very hard for them to find out where your account numbers are, but if you've given it to them or you've sent them a check, they already have it. And they will do that. So they need, they all ask these questions: full name, date of birth, SIN number, your address, maiden name of your mother, username. You can see the list here, it goes on, and people who give this information out are going to be very, very susceptible. The one thing you should know is SIN numbers are not identification. They were never meant to be identification, and don't give them to anybody with the exception of 2 organizations. Canada Revenue has to have a social insurance number because that's how you pay your taxes. And any interest-bearing account, you have to get a form at the end of the year. I believe it's a Form A or B or something like that. It shows how much interest you made on your account. That's the only 2. You can refuse giving your social insurance number to everybody else. So how do they do it? They steal wallets, purses, mail, double swiping credit cards. If you don't know what that is, that's when you've handed your credit card to an individual in a retail setting, a restaurant, anywhere, and they take it back to the point of sale terminal, and they swipe it once for the point of sale terminal, and they swipe it again in their own personal computer underneath the counter, and they get the information that is off the black strip. Believe me, I went and bought one of those machines that can read the black strip, got it online in Toronto for $40. So I don't even know why they can do that, but they do it. From that point, they make another credit card in your name. It could be blank except for the name and the reposted black stripe on the back, and they use it online, in restaurants, that sort of stuff. What you need to know here is that the chip card is very difficult to copy, but in the United States they don't have chips, so they go online and use that stuff because they've also got your CVV number, which is a special security number, on the back of the card. Okay, dumpster diving. We've all heard of medical records being thrown into dumpsters. We've heard of major companies getting rid of documents, instead of shredding them, throwing them in the dumpster, and people do look in the dumpsters for information. Obituaries is another one, and we've stopped that to most cases because we were saying, hey, funeral is going to be held at the funeral home on Tuesday this time, and people would actually go and rob your house. So you have to be very careful what information you put out there for people to read. Most people are saying the funeral will be to follow, or celebration of life will follow, and people will be notified. And of course, the last one and the big one is phishing. People on your computer, people on the phone are trying to get you to release your information. Okay? Here's a couple of examples. Desjardins in 2017 lost 2.7 million client accounts. Now think about your credit rating is in their account, all your information is in your account, your cards are there. That'll have to be investigated by the ombudsman for privacy, and they should have been fined. I don't know if they were or not. I did not hear. Capital One just had a big one where they lost, I believe, 8 million applications. But Capital One is a credit card company. So think about what you put on the paper for your bank to get a credit card. All that information they can use. Here's Equifax. This was in the United States. I think we lost about 800,000 Canadians, but most of it was in the United States. They lost probably 3.5 million US citizens lost it. And they got called before the Congress, and one of the senators said, you can't fix stupid. So how can you allow this to happen when you have everyone's information? They were fined quite heavily. McDonald's was hacked here in Canada for 95,000 job applications. How much, you know how much information is on a job application? Everything. This is how good they are. And this is an example that was sent to me, is this computer that belonged to a municipality or a town down in the United States. A 17-year-old boy broke the code, and he started putting these on their road signs as warnings. Use condoms. Phishing. Do not feed the fish. Phishing is a combination of phone and phishing. So when you're on the phone, they're asking you all sorts of questions. They're telling you they're from your bank or from Canada Revenue or from Walmart, anything that you can possibly think of, they will use and say that you've won something, you're entitled to something, you're entitled to a refund, anything like that, and they will try to get your information. If you remember from our last session, it's just easier just to hang up. If you don't know who's on the other end of that line, hang up. There's about 156 million phishing emails that were sent out each day in 2014, and it's estimated that 14.5 billion per day went out in 2017. Now that's on phone calls, emails, text messages. Every electronic device you get into is trying to sell you something. I get tons of stuff from Walmart. I get tons of stuff from Costco. Well, I don't have a Walmart credit card, and I don't have I've got a Costco card, but they don't have my email because I won't give it to them. If I need to go in, I'll go in. Phishing loses about $3 billion worth of $3 billion a year. Many phishing attacks are now perpetrated through social media. We all know that. And this is one of the bigger ones. Now, when you're looking at something that's come through and you're not a Canada Trust, TD Canada Trust customer, you'll probably get rid of it. But if you are, It's very, very concerning. And what they're saying is, hey, there's a security, highest security level, but there's a problem. Please click on below and fill out the security questions. But let's look at this. First of all, https://easyweb.tdcana.trust.com/ is not a TD email address. It is tdcanadatrust@td.com. All your banks are almost the same. You need to read what's being sent to you. Same thing with Revenue Canada. I don't know how many of you have accounts with Revenue Canada. I have an account with Revenue Canada. I do my taxes online, and they know my name. But here's one that just pops up on your computer. It says, "Dear taxpayer, you're entitled to a refund of $240. Just click on it below." But if you look on the email link below, it is way too long for CAR, Canada Revenue, okay? So be very, very careful. Congratulations, you've won. It's if you click on the claim, you're probably going to go to another website where they're going to ask you for all your information. The scammers are relentlessly going after people to make sure they get this information. Here's another one. Bell is ready for a refund. Most major companies like Bell, Rogers, Enbridge, any of them like that, they don't give refunds. What they do, and you have to think about this, is they credit your account for the next year or the next month. Pardon me, not next year or next month. That's how they do business. They don't give money back. All right? And this is when I said last time people are vulnerable, is because, hey, I can get $112.53, not thinking logically that, well, Bell is only going to give me a credit for the next month. So here's something I thought was funny when I saw computer hacking going on now, that the kids are not going to say that the dog ate their apple. They're going to say, Russia hacked my computer and stole my homework. And that's the next excuse for not doing what the work you're supposed to be doing. Don't give out information. The easiest way for them to get it is to trick you. And if you think you don't know the person on the other side, or if you have not started the process to buy something online, then be very, very careful. It's okay to give out your credit card if you contacted Amazon, if you've contacted Costco to buy something online, if you've registered yourself with an account with them, but not the opposite way. If you don't know who's coming in through that computer or the phone, don't deal with them. 5 things you look out before you click on your emails. And it's the same thing if you're Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
5 things you look at before you click on your email, or it's the same information on your phone or cell phone or whatever you're dealing with when someone else calls. You have to know the sender. You need to know what the subject is. You need to know the body, the attachments, and the source of the URL. And the source of the URL is where that email came from. One of the quickest ways to do that is you take your cursor in your email and you place it on top of the sender's name. And it doesn't matter if it's been spoofed, it doesn't matter if it has been changed in some way, it will always come up with the proper email address from the sender. A lot of the stuff from Costco, a lot of the stuff from Walmart comes from the UK. There's no reason for them to call me. So for first red flag, this is not something I want to talk to. So remember that, and try it when you are alone and you get an email from someone you don't know, or one of these things saying you've won a prize. Put it up there. It is the easiest way to know not to open it. Second L, you never open an attachment from someone you don't know. Okay, a lot of jokes and a lot of pictures are going around that have viruses. Just can't do that. So here's a good example. This was a spam email. So you hover your mouse over the, I don't know if you can see my mouse here, but you take your mouse and just put it on there. If nothing happens, click it once. And what happened with Eva England is it comes up from Chuck Reynolds, from Chuck R at hostu.org. That's the way it tells you. Be wary of suspicious emails and links. And if you don't know where it's coming from, don't click on it. Pop-ups. If you believe that your computer might have a virus, it's because your cursor is moving and you're not touching it, or it's not acting properly, or it's slow to do things. It's time to unplug it. Make sure you're off your Wi-Fi and take it in to a reputable dealer. It costs about $200. They will clean your hard drive, and at that point, reinstall all your applications, and you can start all over again. By clicking on an offer, update now, be very careful about it. I update it when my computer tells me to update. That is the only time I do it. It'll let you know. When in doubt, don't click, because there's viruses everywhere. You can get a Trojan. The Trojan's a little bit different from a virus. A virus interferes with the operation of your computer. The Trojan actually puts things in to watch what you're doing, and even your keystrokes can send back passwords to the scammer, and are looking for you to open up your financial pages. So if you do banking on your computer or on your phone, make sure that you've got the right security in your phone. There's no oops on a computer. Once you push it, that information is gone. You cannot get it back. This is primary. We are all targets, and you know that by sitting in front of a computer and you're getting spam emails, and you just delete. But when you delete them, go into your deleted file and delete them again. Because at that point, when you do a double delete, your computer takes that email, takes that information, and places it somewhere where it cannot hurt your computer. If you only delete the once, then there could be a Trojan still in your computer waiting to activate, because it's still there. Delete it again, and it puts it someplace where it will not, until they figure out how, because they can do that. So, if you're a victim, stop sending money. Stop giving out information. Tell your bank, report to your local police, Canadian Anti-Fraud Center. We have found that local police don't have the resources to do a lot of this, but the Canadian Anti-Fraud Center is open 5 days a week from 8:30 to 4:15, and they take thousands of calls. The center correlates all that information on what has been told, and when they find the common denominators, they present all this information to the police as an investigative package. So it is being investigated. If you are, you think you have been involved and are a victim of scam, tell the companies involved in the fraud and dispute all transactions, particularly if you've sent out your credit card, because they can stop that, okay? And there's likelihood from your bank that they might be able to get your money back. Beware of the scams that are likely to be targeted again because they share your information. All the scammers share all your information, okay? Particularly by people that are sending out refunds. So this is just another thing. Local police, OPP, Canadian Anti-Fraud Center, those are the people you need to contact. But if all you need to do is talk to your bank and they will just freeze everything. They can open up another bank account for you and you can just move everything to that account if you have to have access to your cash. Oops, I'm sorry, I hit the wrong button. So, Canadian Anti-Fraud Center, it is, the website is here, www.antifraudcenter.ca. Do not use the heading CAFC. You'll come across Canadian Association of Fire Chiefs, and you don't want that. It's just an incident report.